Hey kids, do you want to get high? One of the questions everyone seems to be obsessed with is how high you can jump on a Vurtego pogo stick. For me, that number is 11 feet up and over a bar. I've got the record for the highest jump, and today I'm going to teach you how to get super high. Before you start working on elevating your pogo game, you need to be really familiar with moving around. You should be able to jump at least 5 feet from one spot to another if you're on a small, and closer to 10 feet between hops if you're on a medium or large. You need to get your tweaks and tucks down and should definitely understand how to bail, because you're probably going to need to at some point. Jumping high is a combination of several things, and everyone will do this a little bit different. However, there are some tips I've found through the years to help out. The first thing you need to do is understand the timing of the bounce. When to push your weight down to compress the spring, and when to jump back up to get more boost. Once you've got the timing down, jumping high is just a matter of stringing several good, well-balanced bounces together. It takes me 5 or 6 really good bounces to start reaching scary heights. And if you're still new to bouncing, that can be a really tough thing to do. The first thing you need to learn is how to time your bounce properly. This is something that comes from lots and lots of practice, but I can at least give you some pointers. First off, you'll need to pump more air into the stick than you're used to, or else you'll just end up bottoming out. Try to start with 5 or 10 more PSI than you generally use. Get on the stick and start to jump. As you progress, you'll end up adding more and more PSI. Ideally, at your highest bounce, you should have about 1 inch of travel left on the shaft. When you come into the ground, you want to push down just a bit at first to get the spring moving. Then it's a waiting game. I like to keep my knees bent a little bit on the way down. You need to get the air spring to compress as much as you can. Near the bottom, right after the pogo stick slows down and reverses direction back upwards, you're going to jump and prepare for takeoff. The harder you jump, the higher you'll go. Make sure the pogo stick is near the bottom of the stroke before you begin your jump, or you'll throw your timing off. At the top of your jump, you should pull up on the handlebars a little bit and bring the pogo stick into a tucked position to give yourself a good sense of balance in the air. You'll see a lot of people taking one hand off the pogo stick while they're in the air. If you want to do that, go for it. Do what feels comfortable. It is kind of like a monkey swinging its tail, and it helps you to keep balance if you start to get a little wonky and need to make a small adjustment. Repeat this process a few times in a row. You'll be able to start building up some height. When you get to a point where you are bottoming out the stroke, just put more air into the stick. If you start getting off balance and are still pretty low, you can simply bail out and land on your feet. Remember to try landing on your toes to help absorb the impact, and if you're moving forward, consider doing a rollout. If you're really building up some crazy height and feel yourself losing control, think about landing on your pogo stick to absorb the bounce. Instead of bouncing back up into the air out of control, you can kill the bounce and save yourself some damage. The higher you start to bounce, the more important it is to learn how to kill your bounce. You can kill your bounce by simply absorbing the bounce into your knees and body as you come down. It's a fairly complex skill that takes time to learn. You should start small. You should get a feel for it pretty quickly. I can usually stop myself from any height below 10 feet in 3 bounces or less. One thing you can try is to get a running start by jumping forward a few times. Once you build up some speed and forward momentum, you can stack that forward momentum into a very high jump by jumping straight up instead of forward. This is really useful when you're trying to get your highest jump possible. It's also helpful for getting used to jumping up onto things. Well, that's about all I have to say about getting super high on a pogo stick, that is. If you want to see more of these pogo tutorials, be sure to subscribe. Also, smash that like button. That helps us out a lot. Comment below on what you'd like to see next. Till next time, get out and get high.